with science tutor, epic storyteller, and one of the awesome participants of the STEAM hack event taking place at the Science Museum. So Sarah, hello. What is STEAM all about?
Well, so we all know what STEM is: science, technology, engineering and maths. STEAM has got an extra A for arts, and it's about using the arts as a way of teaching science. It's a way of getting creativity into the curriculum. It's a way of getting arts and culture recognised as important. Because pupils don't actually all learn in the same way. They don't all memorise lists of facts, and it's a way of engaging people who wouldn't necessarily otherwise be engaged either in arts or science. It's not about mushing the interdisciplinary boundaries. It's about using creative ways of teaching.
Fantastic. So you, along with other teachers, scientists and artists, got to spend 24 hours in the Science Museum.
Yeah.
How was that?
It was brilliant. We started at 12 o'clock and they fed us, and then they gave us talks, and then we had a Skype thing with two women in the USA who are at the Rhode Island School of Design, and they were the people who really started the whole STEAM idea. And then we had another little video link with a guy from NASA who is actually an artist in residence at NASA, and he makes artworks which help interpret NASA's extraordinary mission. There was an artwork which, whenever they have a data dump from one of the things that they've sent out to look at Mars or Jupiter, they get a data dump back, which happens very infrequently with some of them because their batteries are getting down a bit, and then you can see all these lights come up. They're getting a whole stream of data. There's this whole huge sculpture which tells people that. Really interesting stuff going on in NASA. So we had these video links, and then we thought about ideas that we could use in the British curriculum in British schools. And we coalesced in 4 or 5 groups where people talked about ideas. For example, the group I was in was STEAM starters, because we had 2 very focused teachers in our group who said what teachers need is a resource, because they're all knackered, they're so busy.
Absolutely.
They haven't got any time to plan anything new. What they need is to be given a resource which will help them, not something that's an initiative that's going to load more work onto them. And what they're really looking for is a resource that gives them something for those awkward 5 minutes at the beginning of lessons when people are filing in, settle down, stop fighting, and a way of getting people to engage with the lesson creatively, to think. And also for those awkward 5 minutes at the end of lessons, sometimes when they've been really good and they work really hard and you think, oops, I've run out of stuff. Here's an activity and it lasts 5 minutes, and you can just pull it off the web, click, it goes. You don't have to do any preparation. You don't have to spend ages cutting up sticky back plastic in advance. It's ready to go. So that was our idea, STEAM starters.
Fantastic. You, me, and everybody else in that room knows how important this idea of STEAM is. In terms of the people who are not familiar with it, how much resistance do you think you're going to get from them in trying to actually get this implemented and trying to kind of tell people that this is important and this is something that we need to do?
Well, I suppose different groups are going to be reacting differently. Teachers, for example, may well want a new resource.
Okay.
Teachers will probably recognise that all their pupils are different and react to learning in different ways and need different ways of learning.
Yeah,
so teachers who are quite switched on will think, oh, resource, great.
Absolutely.
Politicians who have got any ounce of forethought will be thinking not about the next year or even the next 10 years, but the next 20 years, we are going to need a nation full of people who not only can do spreadsheets, but can think creatively, can pull things from different disciplines together, can do lifelong learning. And so this kind of education is really important for that. Politicians who are only thinking about the money are going to think, oh, it might cost some money. I don't actually think it will cost that much, but I think it needs a bit of will to make it happen.
Absolutely, definitely. Why do you think there has been such a separation of the arts and science? Why do we continually kind of see it as this kind of separate tribe that you're either going to do the sciences or you've got to do the arts?
It's been going on for hundreds of years, hasn't it?
Yes, it has.
It has been going on for hundreds of years.
Of course, yeah.
And actually, the guy at the beginning, the old head honcho over there, he was saying how you separate into tribes, but you separate the science from the arts, and then within the sciences you separate the physics from the biologies, and he was biology and he was neuroscience, and the neuroscience separates from the rest, and then within neuroscience you separate between and I think actually tribalism is inherent in... Maybe for tens of thousands of years we lived in tribes of 150 people. That's what we're comfortable with. Maybe we're hardwired.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And you, of course, you tutor science.
Yeah.
And I imagine you are also an epic storyteller as well. How do you kind of incorporate that kind of creative element into your science lessons? You must be a pro at it, right?
Well, I quite like incorporating stories about how things were discovered, because it's never a process that ka-ching something is discovered. There's a process of observation and hypothesis testing, and actually that forms a natural story.
Okay.
And I can weave that natural story of how things are discovered with the story of the lives of the scientists, which are often fascinating. Fritz Haber, absolutely tragic life story. It really, and that's a way of making people think about ethics as well as science.
Well, there you go. We have someone who's already incorporating STEAM into actual lessons. So I love that. Thank you so much, Sarah. It's been a pleasure.
It's been great fun. And we got whiskey hot toddies as well, lovely, late last night before we all curled up in our sleeping bags.
Brilliant.